It's sometime in 2004 or 2005. You head over to a friend's house to play some games, and he had just recently gotten something new. A Mario adventure unlike anything I've seen before. We spent the next 4 hours playing through the first chapter of the game, exploring Rogueport, Puddle Meadows, and Hooktail's Castle. We ended up playing into the night and conking out soon after the first chapter, but this was the start for one of my favorite games, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door launched in the later half of 2004. It was well received by critics and fans alike, often being regarded as one of the best, if not the best, Mario title in the series overall, Paper Mario or otherwise. We got our copy of Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door back in 2005 or 2006, trading in Luigi's Mansion for it, because I was a kid who was afraid of haunted mansions. A remake for the game was announced in the September 2023 Nintendo Direct for a May 23, 2024 release. What's that? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? I'll be looking at both of these games at the same time, so the final score will mostly reflect the remake. I'll be using my GISGIG rating of gameplay, story, characters, sound, and graphics, rating each point out of a score of 20 for a combined score out of 100 at the end. So let's get into the gameplay. The core mechanics of the Thousand-Year Door are based on a traditional RPG, but really in the simplest sense of the term. You explore, you battle, you grow, you win. The Paper Mario series deviates from titles like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy in just about every way it can. The environment is fully interactable, filled with trees you can hit, pipes to go through, people to talk to, and collectibles to, collect. It really is a lot of fun to just walk around and explore, enjoying the paper-crafted visuals. Paper Mario uses its paper theme to its highest potential, as objects can flip, unfold, and crinkle as if the entire world was made out of paper, whether it looks like it is or not. The characters appear like 2D assets walking around on 3D environments. The enemies are also paper-themed variants of classic and new Mario enemies. Enemies like Goombas also get variants unique to the Paper Mario series, like Spiky Goomba and Hyper Goomba. During battles, the Thousand-Year Door follows a simple turn-based setup. Mario moves first, followed by his partner, but you have the option to swap their positions. After they are done with their moves, the enemies attack from a left to right order. Mario has an expansive moveset, utilizing both jump and hammer skills, which can expand based on the power-ups and badges you've collected. Mario's partners and the enemies they fight all have their own unique movesets. The bosses in the game are large and memorable, often appearing as if made out of folded cardboard or stock paper. Mario also gains new paper abilities in order to traverse his environment. By unlocking a cursed black chest, Mario will be tricked into getting the worst thing ever, a new skill. Mario can turn into a paper airplane to glide across large gaps, turn sideways to slip through cracks and walls, roll into a tube to pass through low openings, and fold into a boat to travel on the water. While the moves are pretty circumstantial and have no real use in battles, they're fun to play around with and can lead to new secrets. By defeating enough enemies and gathering 100 star points, Mario will level up. You are then given the choice of increasing Mario's health, flower, or badge points. The health points are self-explanatory. If Mario loses all of them, he dies. The flower points are used for special attacks, and badge points are used to equip more badges. I remember in my first run of the game, I dumped all my level ups into health because I wanted to keep Mario alive, and I was bad at the game. And so for the longest time, no attacks used more than 5 flower points, which was as much as you start with, so I found no issues with this. Until I learned you could power up Mario's partners with Shine Sprites, and I became unable to use Vivian's Fiery Jinx move. Looking back, I have no idea how I got so far into the game as a kid with only a limit of 5 flower points. Adding to Mario's arsenal are a plethora of badges. There are badges that give Mario new jump and hammer abilities, badges that give him more health or attack power, badges that can make enemies miss attacks, badges that increase item drops, and a badge that turns Mario into Luigi. It's useful for one quest, I assure you. All of these badges cost a certain number of badge points. There's a good mixture of battle and cosmetic badges, and most badges for Mario also have a partner variant suffixed with a P. As you progress through the game, you have to find the best combination of badges that work for you, as you won't be able to equip every badge you find all at once. The remake has several new additions too. While you are able to quickly access the partner menu in the original game with a control pad, you can now hold the L button to quickly cycle through your partners without loading another menu. There's a new Toad that allows you to practice your battle skills on him, and Mario can now hold up to 15 items rather than 10 without the use of the Strange Stack item. But my favorite new addition has to be the Gallery, a look into the Thousand-Year Door's development. There is so much cut content in the original game, so much so that you could probably build an entirely new game out of it all. So looking into what went into making this game in the first place is really cool to see after all these years of playing it. The Gamecube original already had some pretty solid gameplay, so much so that fans of the series have been clamoring for a return to form for the last 20 years. That's not to say any game after this one was bad. I'll talk about more of those games later on. Do subscribe. But now tells me the 1000 Year Door pretty much perfected what fans wanted from the series. And it only gets better with the Nintendo Switch remake. Between the environments, the abilities, the battles, and everything the remake added, Paper Mario 1000 Year Door has a very solid gameplay, and I will rate it a full 20 out of 20. And with a world being made out of paper, it's gotta have a good story, right? The story starts off with Peach visiting a town called Rogueport, where she discovers a magical map. She sends the map to Mario and invites him to join her on searching for the treasure shown on the map. But by the time Mario shows up, Peach is gone and a group called the X-Nauts are causing trouble, harassing a Goomba girl named Goombella. After saving her, Goombella introduces Mario to Professor Frankly, and the three of them head down to Rogueport sewers, soon finding the titular 1000 Year Door. When Mario stands on the pedestal before the door, the map starts glowing and reveals the location of an object called a crystal star. Mario's objective now is to find all 7 of the crystal stars in order to locate the X-Nauts that kidnapped Peach. There are many large locations that Mario will travel through, from a large castle, to an arena in the sky, to a deserted island, to even the moon. The game plays out in chapters, with each having its own theme, problem to solve, and areas to explore. Upon defeating the boss of the area, Mario is usually rewarded with the crystal star. Each crystal star has their own power that can be used in battle, such as restoring Mario's health and flower points, or drawing circles. Peach isn't just waiting around like usual though. With some help from the X-Naut supercomputer called Tech XX, Peach is able to explore her surroundings and even send Mario messages on what she learns. The X-Naut boss Grodus reveals that he needs the crystal stars to open up the 1000 Year Door, and has sent out several of his minions to find them. Which means not only is Mario trying to locate Peach, he has to gather the crystal stars before the X-Nauts do. And Bowser isn't going to be left out on this adventure either. He quickly learns Mario is off trying to find these magical crystal stars, and so wanting to outdo Mario, Bowser heads to Rogueport to get the crystal stars himself. Bowser's adventures involve him either exploring an area Mario was recently in, or going through a side-scrolling level similar to Super Mario Bros. Mario and Bowser clash a few times in the story, but Peach and Bowser have their own intermissions between Mario's chapters. In other words, you are seeing 4 concurrently running sides of the story: Mario's, Peach's, Bowser's, and the X-Nauts. The many different intertwining stories make the 1000 Year Door story one of the best in my opinion. But the 1000 Year Door also has one of the worst level concepts in the entire series. Twilight Trail is an infamous area for Paper Mario fans, as it involves a lot of back and forth between Twilight Town and the creepy steeple. This wouldn't be too big of a problem on its own, but Twilight Trail is so long and has enemies placed within that any trek through it becomes tedious very quickly. Within the Super Mario Wiki community's yearly Mario Awards, Twilight Trail has consistently placed as one of the worst RPG areas in the Mario series. It's not just Twilight Trail that has this problem either, as a late game search for the character General White has you travel to literally every other location in the game on a wild goose chase. And the XS Express train has a weak build-up for a long and secluded train ride that ultimately doesn't really impact anything on its own. These are required events the game puts you through in order to progress the story, and they're some of the slowest parts of the game. From what I can tell, this isn't really improved on in the remake aside from a new save block in the middle of Twilight Trail, which doesn't really help at all. The story concept is one of my favorites, though there are some awkwardly handled story segments that do kind of bog down the game a bit. These segments are exclusive to their own chapters, and they hardly become a problem ever again when you try to go through them, but they can become a bit of an issue for first-time playthroughs. But what the game does right, it does very well. So I'm giving the story a 17 out of 20. And now for the thing the Paper Mario series is most known for, its variety of characters. The 1000 Year Door has quite possibly the most diverse set of characters you'll see in one place. Not only in the Paper Mario series, but in the Mario series overall. Every character shines with their own personality, even the town NPCs and bosses. Of course you have Mario, who is his usual mute self in the world of talkative people. Even though he doesn't talk, Mario has an expressive personality and is the most versatile of characters in the game. He has many skills which only increase with his badges, and his reactions to events are clear and sometimes hilarious. However, Mario being the central character means he has to be alive, so if he falls in battle, it's a game over, even if his partner can still battle. What is this, Fire Emblem? His partners range from classic species to wholly new characters. There's Goombella, a Goomba girl that can gather hints on enemies, Koops, a Koopa Troopa who wants to get stronger for his dad and girlfriend, Flurry, a wind spirit that can use wind to find hidden secrets, a mini Yoshi that hatches and gives Mario rides, Vivian, one of the Shadow Sirens who can pull Mario into the shadows, Bobbery, an old sailor Bob-omb that can blow up walls, and Miss Mouse, a thief that can point Mario towards treasure. All of these characters have their own unique set of field and battle moves, a reason for why they join with Mario, and personalities that can alter certain dialogues. Unlike Mario, they don't grow with a level up. Instead, you have to take Shine Sprites to Merlin and choose which partner to improve, giving them additional health, attack power, and abilities. Peach and Bowser have their own abilities as well. Peach's story mostly involves sneaking around the X-Naut Fortress for clues on what is happening. There are points where she turns invisible and even dresses up as one of the X-Nauts. Which is odd because the X-Nauts are like half her height, so I picture her just like squat walking the entire time. Bowser can explore field areas where he can talk to locals and light them on fire. Certain intermissions have him play a side-scrolling segment where he can jump on enemies and light them on fire. If he gains enough meat, Bowser will grow large enough to take up most of the screen, becoming invincible and destroying everything in his way. Even Luigi will show up in Rogueport after clearing the chapters. He will tell stories of his own adventure in the Waffle Kingdom, looking for pieces of the marvelous compass to save Princess Eclair. The story he tells is often embellished, as his partners and even his own novelization tells completely different outcomes. Between all the main characters, side characters, regular enemies, and boss enemies, the Thousand Year Door has an impressive cast of characters that, sadly, did not continue into later games. Super Paper Mario had a completely unique set of characters of its own, but most lacked the charm of the games before it, and Sticker Star onward pretty much just replaced everyone with Toads and other generic characters. The first two Paper Mario games have a likable and diverse cast of characters, which the Thousand Year Door just solidifies. There are some dialogue changes in the remake, such as the Shadow Sirens being renamed to the Three Shadows, but these all work for the better and help both the story flow and character personalities. Characters get a full 20 out of 20. The music for this game is one of my favorites. Rogueport, Petal Meadows, Duplic's battle theme, Launching to the Moon, and so much more all have memorable tracks to accompany them. Every little jingle and sound effect can be immediately recognized by fans of the game. The music and sound effects are improved in the remake, being completely redone to match the sound font in later games and to incorporate new elements later games introduced. Perhaps the oddest change for the remake, or rather the lack thereof, is Mario, Bowser, and Peach all still sounding exactly the same. All three of them have had their voice actors changed since the original Gamecube release, yet the remake reuses their voice clips. This isn't a problem in the slightest. It's nice to see some things stay the same, and it doesn't badly impact anything. But hopefully Kevin Afghani can have his chance to voice a new Paper Mario game in the future. One thing about the remake specifically I'm not too fond of is the way dialogue sounds. The original game had dialogue sound like the words were being typed out. Now everyone sounds like something out of Animal Crossing. I realize this change has been here since Sticker Star, but even in that game, that didn't bother me. Here I think voices have been pitched up just a tad bit too high that they all end up sounding kinda squawky. It's not the worst sounding thing in the world and it doesn't impact things too much, but I would have preferred the typing sound effect over this. There's a badge you can equip that reverts the redone music back to its GameCube originals, but it does nothing for the sound effects. As much as I love the soundtrack and sound effects, having to listen to everyone as if they all just swallowed their squeaker can get kind of grating after a while. I'll give the sound a 17 out of 20, as there are also some tracks and sound effects that don't quite hit the mark, like Pirate's Grotto and some paper crinkling effects. The graphics for the original game are very appealing, provided you don't look too closely. Everything is colored brightly and shaded wonderfully. Even the darker areas like Bogley Woods are visually impressive to look at. The areas in Paper Mario are set up like dioramas, little segments with some events placed around it. The paper theme isn't constantly in your face, but you know it's there, and it's fun/funny to see non-paper objects like a stone staircase flip around as if it were a paper. The remake just improves on these visuals, now working with high-definition graphics. Several UI elements also get a graphical overhaul, and the environments have added details to them. The remake also fully animated the opening cutscene, instead of just a storybook with still images in the original game. Before, Mario and Peach were the only characters that had a front-facing and back-facing graphic when walking, whereas every other character had only front-facing even when moving away from the player. Now, Just about every major character has a front and back-facing graphic, including your partners and Bowser. The remake also adds a thin, white outline to character assets, something that's been the standard since Sticker Star. This is fine on its own, but it's not handled the same way here. Even up to Origami King, the white outline was only just that, an outline, only covering the outer part of a character. In the remake of The Thousand Year Door, this white outline is applied to every head, body, arm, and leg of a character. This makes sense considering how The Thousand Year Door's assets are handled, and obviously doesn't impact anything at all, but they don't always line up too well and can honestly look a little awkward when in motion. Another oddity with the remake is Peach's appearance. Her design was updated in Super Paper Mario and it was kept that way since, but the Thousand Year Door remake did not keep this updated appearance. It's a non-issue and means nothing, it's just a weird design choice I felt like pointing out. Despite the awkwardness of the white outlines, the graphics are very pleasing to look at. For the original game, I'll give it a 17 out of 20, and a 19 out of 20 for the remake. For the original game, that's 20 points for gameplay, 17 points for story, 20 points for characters, 17 points for sound, and 17 points for graphics, coming together for a total of 91 out of 100 points. For the remake, it's just 2 more points in graphics, bringing it up to 93 out of 100. Though they're both pretty close, the remake definitely improves many aspects of the original game. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is a classic, and the remake is a return to form fans have been wanting for 20 years. You'll get a great adventure with either the GameCube original or the Switch remake, so which one you play really comes down to personal preference. And your wallet. And now I want to show you guys something pretty old from my past.
So what you're seeing here is an old fan concept of a Paper Mario game I drew as a kid, probably back in like 2007. It had to be pretty soon after I first played The Thousand Year Door. It's pretty mangled for right now. It's been sitting in a bag for the past like 15 years. I'm surprised it's kind of actually held up as well as it did. It is the oldest surviving fan concept I think I've drawn so far. I was really into destroying notebooks as a kid, so there's like all kinds of like paper cutouts and stuff, like the trees and the bushes come out. There's some warp pipe decals here. It's not the greatest art that you've ever seen in the world. I drew this when I was like, what, 12? So, but I think every piece still survived. This is as far as I've ever gotten. I only drew Mario's house and this area apparently called Mushroom Way. That's just what I created it. So, but I'll take you through it here. Mario's house is actually the most mangled of them all. It barely survived as it is. It's based off of Mario's house in the 64 game of Paper Mario. These are supposed to pop up, but they aren't in the greatest of condition. There's a bunk bed here. We got Mario, we got Luigi. It's pretty bad, but and then you got their kitchen, main area with their destroyed chairs and cupboard. And then you walk out, and there's this pipe that just leads right to the Mushroom Way area. I'm going to use a Mario toy to show you guys how this would have gone, for what I can remember. So Mario would jump out of the pipe here, and he would go to, apparently you're supposed to try to head to something called Slope World. I have no idea what I was on back then. But, so Mario can walk around. There's an item blocks apparently here. And your objective here is there's a toad. There's a toad here you're supposed to talk to. I can't get him to stand up, but he's supposed to stand up, and he doesn't want to. So you're supposed to talk to him, and I think he's supposed to tell you, like, the door is locked or whatever. They're keeping something out of the Mushroom Way, Mushroom Woods, whatever it is. And so what Mario has to do is has to go around the area. There's another item block here. I can't get this area to stand up right, but full of dead ends and areas, stuff like that. And eventually, you would find yourself going all the way around to reach this block here. You hit that, Mario stomps on it, and it opens up the door that Toad is blocking. And you talk to Toad again, the door is open, and you find this guy called Poison Toad. I am very creative. Apparently he's been poisoning the water in Mushroom Way. I don't know what his problem is, but you got to play by Power Master game before, you'd probably think of that as a similar concept to the Pora Plains area I've had, where the river there was poisoned. But you defeat Poison Toad, he actually comes off. He's not actually attached to the paper. He survived for 15 or so years, just sitting there. He's great. This entire thing has been in the bag, all mangled and smushed together, and it's all held up pretty well. Most of the pop-ups don't pop up anymore, but it's a pretty interesting piece from my history. This isn't the only fan concept I've made, but it's the oldest one, to be sure. And it definitely used a lot of notebook pieces, things, all this tape together. So much tape to hold everything together. It's honestly pretty incredible how long it's held up. All the pieces are, I think, here. I was able to piece together the area from what I'm able to tell. I can't exactly remember what I was going for here, but all the pieces are here from what I can tell, and they all connect. There's no off branches or whatever. Everything is able to connect. So I assume all the pieces are here, which is good, because this, and I want to be able to document this in case something happens to it, that it did exist at one point. So thank you all for watching.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching this video, I do really appreciate it. Comment down below what your experience with the GameCube original Paper Mario 1000 Year Door is, and what you guys hope to expect to see from the remake that just launched, hopefully today if I got this video out at the right time. You guys may notice something a bit different here, and that there's nothing playing on the TV right now. Because, as I just said, the remake has not come out yet, and I don't have a way to hook up the GameCube original to my TV at the moment. But if things went right, I should have the actual remake by launch day, assuming Nintendo has actually had a good supply of them coming out, and they aren't just like canceling pre-orders or anything like that. So, and I want to be able to use Paper Mario 1000 Year Door as a way to get my Twitch streams back up. Last time I streamed was back in 2021 with Fire Emblem Three Houses, a series that is right now going on my Alex95 channel, though those videos are right now just being edited rather than being streamed. But I thought it'd be cool to bring back my Twitch account to use for Paper Mario 1000 Year Door and show how the remake functions compared to the original game. I don't have a set schedule for Twitch yet. I'm still trying to work some things around, but hopefully I can get it up soon, so please do subscribe and follow me on Twitch and Twitter and join my Discord. All those links are down below. You can find everything down there, including a few other things, like some books that my brother wrote and my dad's own podcast about toys from the 80s. Do like the video, do comment on the video, do subscribe to the video. All of it will help out Tucker. Sure. Sure. Tucker likes it when you subscribe. Until next time, my name is Alex. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around. It's over there. It's over there.